We're at 30. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call our June 14th County Council meeting to order. If you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on our agenda is our auditor's financial report.
The first thing in the report is the revenue report. I'm not sure I didn't miss a page there because there should be the financial report that's got the beginning in the, but we have a lot of uncommitted funds. I'll say, oh yeah, okay. I guess that did not make my little display here thing. We began 2021 with a general fund cash balance of $15,823,611 with projected miscellaneous revenue, the levy, and deducting some that would be tax cap, and also what we have as a minimum balance. Our total funds available for this meeting are $3,990,029. So far in 2022, we have given additional appropriations of $50,407. We have no additional appropriation requests for the general fund for this meeting. With miscellaneous expenditures year-to-date of $27,765, our available appropriations as of right now is $3,911,857. The next page is the revenue report. I did not have very much marked. I think that might have been the only thing here. Of 0131, commercial vehicle excise tax. We get that twice a year, and in the month of May, we did receive the first distribution, and so you can see that is about half of what we did budget for the year, so that is a number that is pretty accurate. I don't think that we had anything else I had marked on the revenue side. I do not think I put this in the packet, but up on the screen, we did receive a lit special distribution. The state can hold only so much money of income tax for us, and when it goes over a threshold, they have to do a special distribution, and that is always done the 1st of May. With the county is the first line here, because with lit, of course, just about everybody gets that except for the school corporations. And so we did get $332,729 of certified shares, public safety of $120,000, and EDIT money of $266,000. So we got $718,838 out of the total distribution of $1.5 million. We also, by the way, here at the bottom here, there was property tax relief of $194,213 that they gave us, so that will be calculated in when we figure the homestead credit for 2023, that we will disperse that $194,000 as tax relief to the citizens through the tax bills for those people that have homesteads. The next page of the report is the fund balances. Fund number 1,000 is the general fund. We have an ending balance of $1.5 million at the end of May. We have now done June settlement, so when you get to the one at the end of June, this is going to be, in the $14-15 million range. So we don't have any concern about being below the minimum balance that the council has set, because this is just prior to distribution of the spring property taxes. The lit economic development. So this, I just highlighted that just because we did put some fresh money in there besides the normal monthly distribution from that special distribution, and so we have $14 million there. I didn't highlight that number, but 1138 is cum cap. That one again is negative, but after settlement is distributed, that it will no longer be negative. Public safety is 1170, and again, we did have special distribution there, so we are now over $5 million cash as of right now. Going down onto page 3 of that report, under 4710 is the county health insurance. We did spend a little bit more than what we took in. by like $50,000, but we are at $9.3 million. And of course, we still do have the $2 million in the rainy day insurance fund. Moving down to 4986, when we had that special distribution of the lit funds, the certified shares, which normally we put into the general fund, I did put this into this rainy day fund, this lit income tax rainy day fund. So there's my $332,000 you see as the revenue. If you do not want it there, I can put it into the general fund, but I thought, well, we're going to get the exact amount that they had estimated for us for lit, and so we could use this in the 2023 budget, because with our uncommitted funds, we're not tight, certainly, that we need this $332,000. So I did put that in there, so that will be figured in whenever we do the 23 budget, if we want to use any of that money at that time. I believe that is all that I had noted.
Any questions for Bob concerning the financial report? Hearing none, our treasurer's report. Jennifer?
Good morning.
Good morning.
The May interest report was in your packet this month. Since the last time I met with you, the Fed funds rate doubled from 0.5 to 1%, so gaining a little bit of ground there. If you'll notice that the First Source Bank is still 0.35. We were in negotiations with them, and they agreed to do an average Fed funds rate. So in a typical month where the rate is 1%, that rate would be around 1%, and if the rate changes at any point, it would just be the average of that month. So we'll see that first on the first report in July. We'll see that rate increase. Total interest then for May was $186,087.81. And on the distribution between the funds, that meant $143,000 of that went toward the general fund. If you'll notice, the 1138 fund, cum cap, that had been zero interest because of the negative fund balance. But as Bob mentioned, once the settlement is done, there'll be a balance there, and that will start to earn interest again. So where we're at in our projection is that we've reported 58% or earned 58% of what we projected in the budget. So with the rates rising, I will be doing a revised projection for this year as I'm looking at my projections for next year interest. When you start to meet for budget hearings, I'll have those numbers. What didn't make it into your packet was that I like to do like kind of a mid-year update, especially after the property tax collection, to let you know where we were with the collection rate. If you'll notice, that was the page I handed out. For spring, our collection was 96.34%. This is slightly lower than what we're used to, but I didn't have any concerns about that because we received a sizable payment one day after the deadline. So it's included in the fall, and our fall collection is about 1% higher than it normally would be. So nothing was out of line there. Staley Credit Union collections were down from what they had been. Again, I think some of these numbers are going to be skewed for a couple of years because of COVID and how we saw things change. More people paying online and going other places and whatnot, and with Staley having the drive-through, that was a significant help during those years. Online payments, though, have continued to grow, and I'm hoping that for this year that we can reach 10,000 in transactions and maybe 30 million in payments. So, going from 10 million 4 or 5 years ago to the 30 is quite an increase in the online payments. Interest I've talked about, and then P-cards were about half of what we had been last year, so that's tracking the same as it had been. So don't have anything else to add unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Jennifer?
All right, thank you.
Hearing none, thank you. Next up, any public comment about any agenda items before us this morning? Hearing none, we'll move on into our compliance with statement of benefits. First up is Allstate Fastener of Indiana. Do I have a motion concerning that one?
I'll make a motion, we approve the compliance of statement of benefits for Allstate Fastener of Indiana, CF1, personal property.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the CF1 personal property statement of benefits for Allstate Fastener. Anyone here representing them would like to make a statement? Okay. Any discussion amongst the council? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next one, GO3.
Make a motion, we approve the compliance of statement of benefits for GO3 Holdings LLC, CF1, real property.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the CF1 real property statement of benefits for GO3 Holdings LLC. Discussion. Anyone here from that organization would like to make a... Okay. All right. Any discussion amongst council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have American Fiber Tech.
Make a motion, we approve the compliance with statement of benefits for American Fiber Tech Corporation, CF1, real property. Can I do both in the same motion, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay, for both, compliance with statement of benefits.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the CF1 real property, two statements, CF1 for American Fiber Tech Corporation. Discussion. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Jason Rainey with American Fiber Tech. You probably know us better as Industrial Pallet down at the corner of 52 and 28. I just want to say that we really appreciate the abatements. It's allowed us to continue to grow. It's been a challenging market, obviously. We all know the conditions we're dealing with right now. It's difficult to get employees. Materials have gone way up. It's been a challenge, but we appreciate the abatements, so thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Discussion?
Nice shirt.
Thank you.
Second.
So we get your name right.
Good.
I noticed that.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those are approved. Next up, we have Liquid Spring Partners.
Make a motion, we approve the compliance with statement of benefits for Liquid Spring Partners LLC, CF1, real property, two sheets.
Second.
And if you want to, you could include, there's two personal
Two personal.
properties for them next.
Do you want to include those as well?
I will, and I will amend the motion to include the CF1 personal property, two sheets as well.
Okay.
Second.
All right, thank you, Barry. I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the Liquid Spring Partners LLC CF1 Statement of Benefits for real property, two statements, and also personal properties, two statements. Discussion. Anyone here with them that would want to make a statement? Okay. Any discussion amongst council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those are approved. Next, we have Ludofact USA LLC.
Make a motion, we approve the compliance with statement of benefits for Ludofact USA LLC, CF1, personal property.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the personal property CF1 Statement of Benefits for Ludofact USA LLC. Discussion.
Good morning. My
Good
name is
morning.
Lee Ramsey. I'm the Vice President of Ludofact USA LLC, and just wanted to tell the council thank you for your continued support. It's allowed us to add additional equipment and increase wages to our employees, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
My one concern is that the actual number of employees is slightly below what the estimate was. Is that anything we need to be concerned about, Doug? If we look at the estimated was 110, and the actual is 105, the salaries are much higher. Is that?
Yeah, so the standard is whether they're in substantial compliance. And
Okay.
so that's not an exact term. And then if you were to find they were not in substantial compliance, then there'd be a hearing where you'd be asking if they made reasonable efforts to become in substantial compliance. So I guess the short answer is no, it's probably not, but it's a bit of a judgment call.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody else is on it.
I would just say, I don't know any employer that is fully staffed either at this moment in time.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, all the other ones were way ahead of the numbers,
Yeah.
just to be clear.
It's a tough
That's-
labor market, though.
Yeah.
You did say they had
Thank you.
an additional 7. Does that go over the top of 105?
Well, they're saying there they had 110 when this started, and they were projecting that they would add 7, is what the forum is saying.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Wildcat Creek Partners, LLC.
Make a motion, we approve the compliance with statement benefits for Wildcat Creek Partners LLC CF1 real property.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the Wildcat Creek Partners LLC CF1 Statement of Benefits for Real Property. Discussion. Anyone here would like to make a statement for them?
Hello again. Again, Lee Ramsey with Ludofact. I am representing Wildcat Partners as the partners are out of town and not able to attend the meeting. Again, a continued support of the council and the growth that Ludofact has had and Wildcat Partners has had since 2014 when this began.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have our consent agenda, which includes our meeting minutes from our May 10th meeting. Anything that needs to be removed for further discussion from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve those items.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Additional appropriations, first up, lit public safety for the prosecutor. Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve appropriation for lit public safety fund 1110 in the amount presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Dolam, a second from Councilman Murray, to approve the lit public safety fund 1170 appropriation in the amount of $13,427. Discussion. Morning.
Good morning, thank you. This is our record management system. This is the new one. This is our annual licensing fee.
Okay, any questions for Pat? Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have the HTCU IPAC fund. Gosh. 9271 grant appropriation for 1809.
I move that we approve the appropriation for HTCU IPAC Fund 9271 CF22 for the amount of $1,809.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Dolam, a second from Councilman Murray, to approve the grant appropriation 9271 as presented. Discussion.
Yes, this is the High-Tech Crime Unit, Indiana Prosecuting Attorney Council's fund grant that we get to run the High-Tech Crime Unit as a regional lab. We are not able to, the 1809 is a refund from Celebrite. They could not provide the equipment we wanted, so we were transferring this to travel and training because across the country, in-person training is now taken over online, and this is, so we're going to just transfer the funds to go to for our digital examiners to go to national training.
Okay. Any questions for Pat? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Sheriff E911 Fund 1222 appropriation.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the E911 Fund 1222
Turn yourself off.
appropriation of $1,410,704.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray, to approve the E911 Fund 1222 appropriation in the amount of $1,410,704.
Well, that kind of took a while to say that.
Yes, it did. Getting tongue twisted, too.
Good morning, I have Chief
Good morning.
Galloway here with me. But what this is going for is LPD's new dispatch center. They're going to move 9 consoles from their existing one. We'll upgrade those. They're going to add an additional 3, and then that also includes the maintenance and service. The other funding will go for West Lafayette's new dispatch, their console, and then the remainder goes for the PSAPs to all be upgraded for a refresh. So everything's been double-checked, triple-checked. It's all approved to be funded through 911. So I don't foresee any issues. He's here if you have any questions, but we've looked at it between all of us and the agencies, and everything fits.
Okay. Any discussion, questions from council?
Thank you all for all the work you're doing and the great benefit for the entire community. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Sir. Yes, thank you.
We just write the check, so you're welcome.
They get to do the work.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's no questions or discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have,
We appreciate it.
yes, thank you, Tony. Next we have TEMA, Lit Public Safety Appropriation.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Lit Public Safety Fund 1170 appropriation in the amount of $45,400.
Second.
Was that you, Ben? Second. Okay. I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray to approve the Lit Public Safety 1170 appropriation in the amount of $45,400. Discussion.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This will replace a truck in our fleet and include the emergency equipment that goes on the truck.
Okay. Any discussion, questions from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have the TEMA Fund 9124 grant appropriation.
I'll make a motion that we approve the TEMA Member Safety Fund 9124 fiscal year 22 grant appropriation for the amount of $5,000.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from, Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray to approve the grant appropriation 9124 in the amount of $5,000. Discussion.
That is a $5,000 grant from Duke Energy that will go for safety equipment for our volunteers and our staff.
Okay. Thank you. Discussion from council. Questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Health Department Fund 8464.
Make a motion, we approve the Immunization Fund 8464 FF23 in the amount of $57,000.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the grant appropriation 8464 in the amount of $57,000. Discussion. You have
No, nothing to add.
anything, comments, questions from
This is just
council?
to provide immunizations across the area.
Yep,
Yeah, we're
pretty
going to be going into
straightforward.
the schools and everything, so it'll help cover those costs.
Yes, thank you. If there's no other discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have the Vaccine Reimbursement Fund 9170.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Vaccine Reimbursement Fund 9170 FY21 in the amount of $297,000, and I'd like to table the $100,000 line item for other machinery and equipment for further discussion with the Health Department.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon, to approve the grant appropriation 9170 in the amount of $297,000 with the $100,000 for machinery and equipment to be tabled. Further discussion.
The only comment I would like to make is that we are hiring a fourth inspector, and so we had just wanted to allocate those funds in equipment so that we currently have 2 Crown Victorias that we drive to go out and do the inspections, but with hiring a fourth, scheduling and everything like that. So eventually, we would like the purchase of a vehicle, which we did discuss with Ben, and we have Tracy Brown researching and pulling that together for us. So that was the reason for the allocation of that fund.
And I'm not opposed to the vehicle purchase. I just think we just need more data and just to sit and discuss it and work together on that. So that's why I'm just tabling it and not denying it right at this moment in time.
Okay, any other comments or
I
discussion?
just wonder, $180,000 of part-time seems like a lot.
We currently have a part-time nurse that we're hiring in on that, but that's over the next year, so that way we can allocate those funds. We just hired one part-time immunization. We have a second, hopefully, that we're coming in soon, so I'm calling her back today. So those part-time funds are for salaries for the lead and the immunization uptick that we have.
I believe there's also a COVAC, if I'm mispronouncing that, correct me if I'm wrong, but the COVAC fund or grant is running out June 30th. So
Yes.
it's picking up the
Yes.
the additional expense of the allocation of money.
Yeah, that is true. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have salary statement for the Health Department.
I'll make a motion, we approve the 2022 salary statement for the amount for a community health case manager for the amount of $42,358.
Do we want to do both of
And
them?
can I do both?
Can we, is that okay to do both of them? I assume it would be. Yeah?
Okay, along with, continuing that motion, along with part-time hourly rate up to $25 an hour.
Second.
Okay, got a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the salary statement, one for the community health case manager and one part-time hourly rate up to $25 per hour, and that, make note of, is from grant funds 8485 and 8173. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe this wasn't in the packet? Okay. We have Fund 9170, which we had just talked about. We just did the appropriation, the $180,000 for part-time. When they had done we've never had a salary statement that covered 9170. So if you can see up on the screen, I have a salary statement for part-time up to $30 an hour out of Fund 9170. So if you could approve that, or else we're going to have $180,000 and not be able to spend it.
I'll make a motion, we approve the salary statement for Health Department for part-time out of the Fund 9170 in the amount up to $30 an hour.
Second.
Okay, got a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the salary statement for the Fund 9170, part-time up to $30 per hour. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Bob. Next, we have the Highway Fund 4805.
Mr. President, I'd move that we approve the surtax fund of number 4805 for the Highway Department.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Basham, a second from Councilman Richard to approve the appropriation for the surtax fund 4805 appropriation as presented. Discussion.
This is once again, good morning. This is once again a rolling through surtax to cover our federal highway projects. This covers the right-of-way for 3 projects. It's the Morehouse, Yeager, and the 231 safety improvements. We make those payments up front. We get an 80% reimbursement that rolls back into surtax, and then I'll be back for an appropriation when we actually let those projects to cover the cost of construction.
Stu, because this is, how we've talked about this, the
Yes.
roads and construction, is there an amount that you want us to put into right-of-way out of the million?
Well, it's my understanding we'll have to do it. The million was,
You can do a transfer, or else you can just do us, and we can do it right now. Then you don't need a form. If you have some sort of number, and you can transfer it around if it's high or low.
Small portion of that was PD, but most of it's right away.
it was okay, but we don't, yeah, in the right-of-way account, but it's not created because there was no money.
Right, but if you tell us, we can appropriate right into the right-of-way out of your million. So if you want to lower the $1 million for roads by whatever amount, or else we can do it by a form too, but if you want to do it right now,
The vast majority of that is right-of-way, so very little of it is PE.
you want to do the whole million
Approve the
just
whole
out
million.
as right-of-way? Okay, we'll do that. So then Rachel doesn't need to do a form.
All right. Thank you very much. Oh,
Okay.
vote.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
If we could amend
the Okay.
motion, so instead of roads and streets, make it right-of-way.
Okay. So can we amend that, John, to, instead of being roads and streets, be right-of-way?
Okay, Mr. President, I would move out of Fund 4805 that we amend the motion of, instead of roads and streets, to make it to the right-of-ways.
Second.
Okay. We have the, that's okay with the
Yes. Second.
motion and second? We'll move forward with that. Any other discussion amongst council? So we're clear on now that it's right-of-ways. So if that's okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's
No,
approved.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any committee reports for us this morning?
I just wanted to comment that Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative met in the quarterly meeting and continue to make progress in the juvenile services needed. So I'm very proud of the collaborative that has done, so I just want to mention that.
Okay. Anything else? Reminders of our meetings coming up? Okay, Bob's got, do you want that in unfinished, or? Okay. Any new business? If not, Bob, you can, what do you have for us?
This is-
Surprise report.
Yeah, no. I just want to introduce, we have Samantha Perez, is our new, well, she does accounts receivables, her main job, but she's also going to be working on the minutes for the commissioners and the council meetings at least. So Jennifer Wofford had left us, and Jason had taken her. She'd gone to community corrections. He's a drug and alcohol counselor now, so she'd finished her education to be able to do that, so that was what she had her eye on from the get-go. So I wanted to introduce her to you guys, and Ben knows her, but I'm sure nobody else does. But anyway, and also, today is the last meeting for Michelle Richardson. She's been with the county for 20 years, and she's retiring within the next month. And she's been with me for basically all of my auditor years as the elected auditor, and she was in public defender for a period of time, but just wanted to recognize her for everything that she has done. You know, she does a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff for council. She does all the packets and all the stuff that I know you have dealt with her a lot, and I've appreciated all the work that she's done for me over the years, so I want to thank her.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, and I would publicly like to thank Michelle because she always is great with sending our agendas, and anytime I have a question, she's more than willing to drop what she's doing and to dig in. So, Michelle, thank you. We're going to miss you.
Thanks, Michelle.
And she does have a formalized speech, I think, or maybe not.
Maybe not?
Maybe not, I don't know.
The podium is open.
Yeah, but you have to sign in.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Commissioner FYI.
Sorry, I was not prepared to do this today, and I really don't have a whole lot other than I just wanted to announce that we did get the second half of our ARPA funds, so they are on deposit with us. Currently, want to say again a second welcome to Samantha. After spending hours reviewing Bob's minutes from the commissioners' meeting, I'm very thankful you're here. Desperately needed. And again, to Michelle, thank you for your years of service. You've been outstanding. I'm going to miss you. You've been a good friend, so thank you.
Okay. Any public comment for us this morning?
Mr. President, I hold the office here, but I also want to speak as John Q. Public, a concerned citizen. I don't know if I need to go to the podium, I will, or speak from here.
You can speak from here.
Okay. I don't have a planned speech here, but the last murders in the schools really hit home to me, especially when I was, and I don't follow CNN, I don't follow Fox, but I did see it on TV when the doctors were administrating to the folks, the children that were killed, and it really hit home to me. And I'm not running down food finders, but we found $500,000 for food finders. We find money for everything else in this county. And I just feel in my heart that the resource officers, I don't know how many we have, what, 3 maybe at the major schools?
5.
We have 19 schools, and we're the Tippecanoe County Council. We have 19 schools in Tippecanoe County. And I feel that Tippecanoe County ought to be the leader in this area. We found money for resource officers. I think we ought to find money to put a resource officer in every school, grade school, elementary school, and if you go home, you go out and lay your head down at night and you think about that, we've been kicking the can down the road. I know we have a lot of security in the schools. I didn't particularly like it when I had to go to Southwestern to check on my grandkids, but it's the way of life. And taking guns away is, and I'm not trying to get political, is not the answer. You can't grab every gun. So we have to go on the defense, and we have to take these schools and arm them, not the teachers, but do the best we can to protect these kids, because these kids are vulnerable. They're there. They're sitting ducks. And I'm not trying to get off on a political tangent here or anything, but I charge the commissioners here in Tippecanoe County, all 3 of you, you need to find money. You need to meet with the school superintendents in Tippecanoe County, because that's what we are. Lafayette, they have their own council. West Lafayette, they have their own council. We in Tippecanoe County, we have 19 schools. We need to really buckle down, because these deaths are on our generation, that we cannot protect these kids. And I think there's a lot of things that could be done. I mean, I still think there should be one entrance. I know the issue down in Texas, the back door was left open, but there again, I'm not trying to do it. But I think we're kicking this thing down the road. We need to just not say, well, it hasn't really hit here yet. I thank you for listening to me. That's the way I feel. I've got grandkids, and if it ever happened, and if your children or your grandkids, your nieces or nephews were affected by this, I think it would drive a nail through your heart. So thanks again, and again, I charge the commissioners, try to get together with the 3 superintendents from School Corporation, Lafayette, Tony and his group, they need to get together with Lafayette, and I think every one of these schools need to have a resource officer. They're available. Thank you kindly. God bless.
Thanks, John. Others? Morning.
Good morning. I'm Rhonda Stein. I sent you all a letter a couple weeks ago about my son's passing of an overdose from Xanax and Tramadol 10 years ago, and about the void in our family ever since. I've been asked many times what I thought started my son's substance use disorder. Well, I can tell you that no one has asked that question more than a mother trying to find out what happened to her family. My mind goes wild with those questions. What ACEs did he endure? Did something happen to him that I didn't know about and he was afraid to tell me about? Was it the codeine cough syrup I gave him when he was a child Any child given a narcotic before out of high school has increased chance of developing substance use disorder by 30%. Was it all the concussions he received in football, which also increases the chance of substance use disorder? Was it genetics? What happened to my family became a bottomless pit of unanswered questions. 10 years ago, treatment was considered to be tough love. Today, we have evidence that medication-assisted treatment with methadone and buprenorphine reduce mortality in the first year of recovery from opioid use disorder by 50 to 70%. I try to avoid the what-ifs. I'm thankful for the internet and so many online courses and professional lectures on substance use disorder that are widely available and easily accessible through JCoin, Indiana Echo, or Overdose Lifeline, just to name a few. Anyone making decisions on the use of these opioid settlement funds should be required to be knowledgeable about substance use disorder. I have learned a lot over the past 10 years. Although just as you cannot understand the loss of a child unless you lose one, you just cannot understand substance use disorder unless you experience it or watch your child sucked into it. It's a horrifying disease. I am also thankful to social media and finding that I was definitely not alone in my situation or my questions, finding hundreds and now thousands of other mothers with the same haunting questions and what-ifs. There is comfort, strength, understanding, love, and support that occurs when you're in a group that has experienced exactly what you have, peers. They know exactly what you need to help and support you and hold you up when you need it. One of the mothers in my group made this poster that I would like to share with you today. And this is my passion. These faces on this poster are the reason that I'm here showing you this today. These faces are no longer on this earth. One of the mothers made the poster. Her daughter Sammy is standing in the middle. Her boyfriend, Michael, who passed a year later, is standing right behind her. My son, TJ, is standing right in the middle, holding his peace sign. When this poster was made, it represented a three-day long weekend of overdose deaths. Today, this poster represents the number of people that overdose and die in the U.S. within a little over 24 hours. After TJ's passing, as well as reading every article about substance use disorder I could get my hands on, I started volunteering at Lafayette Transitional Housing. I'm involved with the Drug Free Coalition, where I was secretary for 2 to 3 years, involved in the Opioid Task Force, now a volunteer at Recovery Cafe. I became an Indiana naloxone distributor, and I started One Love Harm Reduction in honor of my TJ. It's bittersweet, but I'm proud to say that the naloxone that we've distributed through our organization has saved at least 20 lives. I became an affiliate of Overdose Lifeline, which was started by Justin Phillips, whose son Aaron passed of an overdose. Her organization is responsible for much of the naloxone in our state. I manage the nalox box at the Surf Center. Many mothers and parents have started harm reduction groups because we know harm reduction is proven to work. We want people to stay alive so that they can recover. We families are begging you to help us. We have nothing to gain financially from this. We don't have our hands out wanting money, even though this is the settlement and justice and compensation for our lost children. Their deaths. We have nothing to gain financially. We only want to prevent other people from enduring this nightmare that our family is going through every day, and I will be going through until I take my last breath. We don't want to fight for justice compensation. The money should be used as intended. It was already fought for by the parents and victims who testified at the hearings and came up with the litigation, the note papers that I also send you, the National Opioid Abatement Trust, the trust distribution procedures. We don't want these funds to be pilfered away like the tobacco settlement funds were. Schedule B, which I sent to you, was sent to me by the Attorney General's office, and it's the trust distribution procedures of the National Opioid Abatement Trust. which lists the approved uses of these funds. The main focus are to support treatment of opioid use disorder and any co-occurring substance use disorder or mental health conditions through evidence-based treatments and strategies. Expanding the availability of treatment, including all forms of medication-assisted treatment approved by the FDA, also in our jails. Do you know that people leaving incarceration are 8 times more likely to die of an overdose in the first 2 weeks of their freedom? The idea that forced detox in jail will make people healthier is verifiably false. It makes them 800% more likely to die. We need to support mobile intervention, treatment and recovery services, such as peer recovery coaches for persons with opioid use disorder and co-occurring substance use disorder, mental health conditions, and for persons who have experienced an overdose. I was told over a year ago that, and I've been trying to find out the information, which is very hard to get, but I'd like to know how many overdoses present to our emergency rooms every day or week or month, and the percentage of those patients that are seen by a peer recovery coach during that visit. Those moments are crucial. When someone is ready to get help and they've just overdosed, that is the time when we need to be available to offer services. Peer recovery coaches are a very important tool that is so valuable to instill hope, insight, support, and guidance in the emergency room after an overdose, in jail, and in all treatment and recovery centers. They are the boots on the ground and are the ones who understand the needs of the people they serve and how to help them. Just as my mom peers understand me and help me in ways that no one else can. Mayor Rosworski was kind to respond to my letter. He stated that they had started putting a plan in place with the first area that the funds would be used is to hire a licensed individual that will work with the police department on calls involving people with mental health and addiction issues. They would like to have 3 of them working every day within the next 5 years. I do believe that's a great plan to have social workers with law enforcement on those calls, especially if we could clone Devin. I disagree with the opioid settlement funds being used for this purpose. We have so many needs and barriers to those trying to recover, which was the intent of these funds, is to provide resources for people with substance use disorder so that they can recover. The money was not intended to be funneled into law enforcement. We pour lots of dollars into law enforcement and the judicial system and starve harm reduction and grassroots efforts. According to Todd Rokita, Indiana's share of the note is $506 million over 18 years, $250 million to the state and $250 million to local units of government, or $13.9 million per year for opted-in areas of our state to divide. This amount of money could save so many lives. The Attorney General said no amount of money will ever compensate families for the loss of loved ones. And then he went on to say local government is closest to the people and most aware of community needs. I will agree that no amount of money will replace the lives that we've lost, but I disagree on the second part of the statement. Our local government, no community organizations, nor even myself, are the most knowledgeable of our community needs surrounding the substance use disorder. The peer recovery coaches, people at our health department, the boots on the ground are the ones that see the barriers these people are running into every day trying to recover. They're the ones who know how this money can be used the most effectively for the purpose it was intended to decrease deaths of this public health crisis and help provide people with resources to reduce barriers. A person has to be alive to recover. There needs to be transparency and oversight as to the use of funds, and us true victims and the victims of the opioid crisis need to be at the table. Our children's lives are the reason that we are getting this money, and it would be disgraceful to have it used in ways that aren't as it wasn't intended. Please help us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And I could talk a lot more, but I will be quiet.
Any other public comment?
morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Loomis, the new health officer, and I just wanted to say thank you to Rhonda and support her efforts 100% from the health department standpoint and as a private physician. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? If not, do I have the last motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
What'd you say?
Oh, I want to touch the agenda.